Ahoy there, Elder Scrolls Legends fans, and welcome back to another episode of DBN and Friends. I'm your host, DeadBrokeNerd, and this is a series where I interview prominent members of the Elder Scrolls Legends community in the hopes of inspiring the next wave of Tessil content creators. Honestly, I couldn't be happier to introduce this week's guest. She's a fellow member of Team Rankstar, a high legend ladderer, and one of the most popular Test Legends streamers on Twitch. So, without further ado, let's chat with Eolis. Welcome, Eolis. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sure most of the Tessil community knows who you are, but for anybody who's new, who hasn't got to catch your streams, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, by the way. So as you said, my name is Eolis. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Eolis. Most of you who haven't seen me, it's because I stream at horrific times because I'm based in New Zealand and nobody knows we exist. And I'm like a day and a half ahead of most of you. So that would be why.
Yeah, no need to brag about being in the future.
Total future. Ask me the lottery numbers. Don't. Don't. Everyone asks me. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Everybody knows time zones are magic.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I always like to start interviews with, and I've kind of asked all of my previous guests, one of my favorite things actually, is I was kind of wondering, what is your origin story, right? So like, what is it that got you started down the path of, gaming, loving gaming to the point that you'd want to stream it for a bunch of days and a bunch of hours every week? Like, what is it about gaming that really gets you excited?
Origin story's cool. That makes me feel like a superhero.
Right?
Like, what's my origin story? That's neat. I guess it's kind of an odd one, like, and it's probably going to show my age a wee bit, which is fine, I guess. We've come to accept it. So this would be in the, I'm going to say mid-90s, from like a single parent family. And so I used to get dropped off at school in the mornings at about 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., and a teacher would look after me before school started. And in one of these teachers' rooms where I would go and hang out, there was like the only PC that our school had. Really old school, like brick thing.
Yeah.
And it had a game on there called Commander Keen. I don't know if you've ever heard of
I
it.
don't think so, no.
Yeah, so I'm going to say it came out in like 1990. Like it wasn't new when I was playing it. Like it was like a few years in.
Yeah.
And it's like this side-scrolling platformer. It's like run on like MS-DOS. Like
Oh my gosh,
it's
yeah.
old school, and I loved it. So that would be probably the first instance of like becoming addicted to something gaming. Like every day I was trying to, get further in this, and I'm pretty uncoordinated, so I don't think I ever really nailed it. Yeah, on this PC. So that would be my first sort of experience with it. Later on, probably in like 2004, I got into a whole bunch of, one specifically, text-based RPGs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I played those pretty religiously up until like when I started Legends, basically. So that was, yeah, about
That's really
12,
cool.
12 or 13. Is it though?
I don't see.
Is
Okay,
it? I don't think it's
maybe not conventionally cool.
No. Yeah, text-based RPGs.
Honestly, that's something I've always wanted to like give more like time to. I hadn't really known that was a thing, and I took a college class on the
Yeah.
history of video games, right? Which was super baloney filler credit for my history degree.
That
But
sounds amazing.
it was really cool, and so I actually tried like one of the first ones, like is they like Zarp or Zorp or something like that. Zorg.
Uh,
I don't know.
I
But it
was
seemed
real
really
left
cool.
field. Yeah, I played this really little one. It's called Shimla. It's actually still live now.
Mm-hmm.
I won't recommend it for personal reasons anymore, but when I played it, it was old school. It was like getting home from school, waiting for the dial-up internet to connect. Like waiting
Mm-hmm.
and listening to that dial-up sound, seeing whether or not we were going to connect to the internet. Then I had to join like a queue to get into it because the server, excuse me, could only hold like a handful of people in this
Wow.
thing. And the worst part about it is obviously the internet would take up the phone line.
Yeah.
So if my mother wanted to use the phone, she'd just like unplug the internet briefly and
Just
then like plug it back in to use the like she'd unplug the phone line, plug it back in and use the phone. And I'd just be sitting there going like, do you have any idea how long I've waited to get into the server
yeah.
to connect to the internet in general?
Just
Yeah.
got to jump right back in. yeah.
And that was only for text based, and it was
Yeah.
just like, yeah. So I don't know how I managed when we actually got games that had
Oh
images.
yeah. No, I
It's like
didn't.
sensory overload.
Yeah, I didn't do any online gaming until I was in like high school, and mostly because like our internet was so bad there was no point.
Yeah, exactly. But that was the cool part about it, right? Like that's the
yeah.
most important thing for me, and I'm sure that you agree with like the Legends community is like it's the community that I enjoyed
Yeah.
the most about the game. It was almost like just a chat forum sitting there playing it. Um, so like I still love the old like single player games, but
Yeah.
I can only do it for so long before I want to do something where I can talk to people at the same time. And
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
that's definitely something I've experienced more and more. Is like I've had The Witcher 3 sitting on my desk, ready to play
Yeah.
for like 2 years, and it's like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I know it's a good game, but dang it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that a lot. I'll sit there and I'll go into Skyrim or I'll go into The Witcher 3, something like that, and I'll play it for a little bit and I'll be like, I wonder what everyone else is doing.
Yeah,
See if I can
yeah,
chat to them.
yeah. I think that's something that like like as I've gotten older, it's definitely become like gaming needs to be social.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, awesome, great. And so, okay, so we talked a little bit about like the text RPGs and stuff like that. But
Making
but
myself so
but
cool.
when did Tessil come onto the scene for you, and like how did that shape up? You know?
It's it's again I guess it sort of centers around the community side of things. So I'd been playing this text-based RPG for a really long time. I like to be heavily involved in things like I get quite obsessive with the games that I play, so I had actually worked my way up to be an administrator of the game.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
it's a small community, but like I was, puffing my chest up as this administrator. And there was a lot of things that started happening in the community that were really negative,
hmm
that you couldn't really get around because it was actually stemming from the ownership of the game. So
Oh.
anyway, I was looking for a way out
hmm
basically. And because I played it mostly on mobile, because this we'd got to a point now where it was browser based, so I could play it on
hmm
the train and things. I was looking for a train game.
Yeah.
And I first of all got into Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, which just turned out to be a massive money sink for me. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like yeah, it was bad. So for whatever reason, I was looking for something different, and this popped up on the Play Store. So for everyone who says that Legends don't advertise, like they must have because it
yeah.
popped up for me saying, "Hey, try this game," and it wasn't targeted advertising because I've never played a CCG before.
Right.
Um, and so yeah, it popped up. I downloaded it. I messaged a couple of my friends who I knew had played card games before,
hmm
and I think I basically sent a message which just said, "Teach me this," and they were like, "We haven't played it before." I'm like, "Cool, just download it. Let's learn it."
yeah.
And that was how it was. And because they had the history of CCGs, they picked up on it really quickly, like really quick. And so I just wanted to try and keep up with them. And that feels like my whole Legends career is I'm just trying to keep up with the people that I'm hanging out. So they were like Legend really early, and I just wanted to get up and be Legend with them. So I put a lot of time into it
Yeah.
when I first started playing, grinding the AI, just trying to get the gems to make the set. Because, sorry, tangent happening, is
Yeah.
that I'm relatively well known in the game at the moment for being a whale. Like I buy all of the
Oh.
pre-order stuff, I buy all of the alt art stuff. Like I love
yeah.
it, and I have 100% collection, and I'm collecting
Oh
premiums.
gosh.
So I'm well known as I've put money into the game. Um, I just want to always start out by saying that I was not always putting money in. I was free to play because we made a deal. Like these guys that I started playing with, we made a deal when I started that we would not put any money into it because of my experience with Final Fantasy
yeah.
Brave Exvius, where I was like, guys, I can't do this anymore. So it was like all the way up until Morrowind, I was completely free to play,
oh man.
and then Morrowind dropped, and I was like, I really want these cards.
Like
Like I
there it
really want to
goes.
play this. And so yeah, I said, look, it's happened now. We did as much as we could. We got into, like Legend and everything without ever having to put any money in. Um, and then yeah, it went downhill from there.
Yeah. No, it's gone downhill for me. I was free to play all the way up.
Yeah.
All the way up. I
It's
think
gonna be
actually
such
I
a
was pretty
common story.
Yeah, I was
I
pretty good
was.
for a while.
Yeah.
Clockwork City I had bought because at the time when that came out I was just insanely busy. But then I
Mhm.
didn't buy any packs from Morrowind. I used all gold. I was very
Yeah.
proud of myself. But then I
Mhm.
came around and they did the it stopped when they had the Cheesemancer. That was or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's when it and now I'm just not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's game over, man.
Yeah, I don't know, and I understand that for a lot of people who wanted to have like 100% and then couldn't pick up on some of those deals. That I know that that was quite a controversial
Oh yeah.
time for a lot of people. But I don't know, and I get it. I get where they're coming from,
Hmm.
but ultimately, without people willing to put money into
Yeah.
the game won't survive.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's the small percentage of us who are like remortgaging our house for card packs that are like keeping everything alive, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
No doubt.
slight exaggeration. Slight exaggeration.
Only
Not
slight.
remortgaging the house for card packs. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Yeah. No, it's just fun to kind of hear how people ended up. That's the first time I think I've heard somebody say that they started because they just found it on mobile. Like that's actually
Yeah.
really kind of cool. That's
I didn't
different for
know
a
that
lot of
there was a
people.
PC. I didn't know that there was a PC version. I thought it was a mobile game.
So
I
then,
didn't know.
how did you end up being a big streamer? How did that
A
happen?
big streamer. Can I call myself that yet? I don't think I
I
can. I
think
think
you
I'm just
can. I think that's. I
steam
mean, for Test Legends, definitely.
medium. Well, I could accept medium.
All right, I'll
I'll
give
accept
you.
medium. Mediocre?
No, I'll give you like what is it like upper middle class? Like higher in the medium range.
Okay.
How's
Yeah, no,
that?
I can handle that. I can
Yeah, I
handle
think that's
that.
fair, especially for
Yeah.
for Tessil.
I'm kind of stalling because it's kind of embarrassing as how I started streaming.
Uh oh,
But yeah.
out with it.
Yeah. I'm a really bad Twitch streamer in that I didn't know what Twitch was. So, okay. My husband and I don't for years haven't had, I guess, traditional TV. We've always
Hmm.
just watched streaming sites, and we watch a lot of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And so we used to sit and eat our dinner, and we would watch what I now know were VODs that people had uploaded to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were watching, highlight videos and stuff. For a lot of first person shooters, my husband's a gamer, but he's on a different level than me. He's like retro gaming and first person shooters, that
Mm,
type of thing.
yeah.
So we watched a lot of them. Um, and I was always thinking it's pretty cool how they can just sit there and play a game and people will come and like hang out with them and talk to them.
Yeah.
So I'd said to my husband that one of my goals was that I wanted to learn how to stream a game online. Um, and so I think one afternoon I just did that. I googled something real. I'm not technology savvy, so I'm pretty sure I googled something like how can people watch me game. Like I'm pretty sure it was something along those lines.
Wow.
And I had his old laptop. I googled it. I was like, oh, Twitch. Yeah, I think I've seen people use that term before. That must be what Ninja uses or whoever it was that was like at the time. Um, and yeah, I worked out how to get OBS to work. I watched a couple of YouTube things about getting the game to show up.
Yeah.
And I just pressed like start streaming. And it was horrific. Like I don't know how I got through it because I don't.
Oh.
I just sort of did it, and I didn't watch Twitch. So I streamed, and there would be, I don't know, you've streamed, so you'll understand what I said here. But I remember the first time I streamed for like half an hour, played a couple of games, and just sort of signed off. And I was like, oh, I streamed today. And my husband goes, oh, did you have anyone watch? And I was like, yep, someone stayed the whole time. It was this person called Electrical Longboard. Does that name ring a bell for you? If you ever look at your people who are watching you, Electrical Longboard will be in every stream that you do. It's like a bot. Like everyone has that as like a thing. But I was real hyped. I was like, this person was here the whole
Your
time.
best
Electrical
friend, new best
Longboard.
friend.
Yeah, they were there. They were watching me.
Oh man.
And it went on like that basically for like maybe once a week, twice a week, every now and again, from about December through to sort of February.
Yeah.
And I'd got like a mic at one point,
Mm-hmm.
so like people could hear me. And I'd get between sort of 2 or 3 viewers, and I was sitting there one day. It was quite late at night. It was on the 1st of March last year, and well, I was just talking to one. There was like 1 or 2 people in my chat who were helping me
Mm-hmm.
them. Um, and all of a sudden, all these people were talking in the chat, and I was just like, oh, okay, where have all these people come from? And I said that. I said, where have you guys all come from?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, Frenzy hosted you. And I was like, cool. What is a host? And they were like, oh, like so if you go, I said this out loud, like there's video
Oh,
evidence
man.
of this
I love
happening,
it.
which
I
is
love this
awful.
story for the record. This is the best.
No, it's really bad. But yeah, they were like, oh, it means that when we go to his channel, we come to yours instead. I was like, that's cool. And yeah, I had no alerts. I didn't like. I don't know if I had a follow alert. I don't think I did. I used to get emails pop
Yeah.
up to tell me when people had followed, and so I think I used that for a bit. Yeah, I didn't know what a raid was. Didn't know what a host was. Didn't know why there were all these people
Oh,
in the
man.
channel. But that was the turning point for me because they were all talking to each other. So like this was like for context of who was in this, it was like Frenzy like raided me, and
Yeah.
there was like Trader Joe and Warriors and like all of these other sort of streamers and names from the community who came into this stream of mine, which is horrific to think about.
Oh, my
Um,
gosh.
and they all knew each other, and I was like, "Are you all friends?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, basically." Like, and that's how I found out that there was this like huge community behind it,
Yeah.
and that's what I'd been sort of
Yeah.
seeking out to and that's kind of when I've got this graph and I bring it up all the time, and Frenzy hates when I bring it up, but I call it the Frenzy effect because you can see on all of my stats history the day that he hosted me,
Yeah.
and it's been like up ever since. Like he's the one, like on the 1st of March, he
Oh,
was the one
wow.
who hosted me, and it's the Frenzy effect. It's a great graph. It's amazing. I'll show
That's
it to you.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
He
it's
says that someone else would have, but I'm like, nah, it was all you.
it's 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 kind of like that part is kind of standard. You'll always remember that first big host you get.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm always, and I already was a fan, but I'm always gonna be a Matt Oblivion fan because
Oh yeah.
he was my first big
He's
host.
lovely.
He's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I finally got to catch some of his stream last night because, as you know, time zones is the issue with
Oh
me. He
yeah.
starts every night at midnight for me, and because I work, I'm in bed by that point
Hmm.
during the week. But I was up last night and I managed to catch some of his stream, which I was really excited about. I always enjoy his stream.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's great. Um, but yeah, no, that's actually really funny. So what amuses me, obviously it was a funny story. I'm glad you shared it. So thank you. But what's kind of cool about it, right? And I guess like something really neat for anybody who's like watching this and thinking about like getting started is like you just said, "Hey, I want to stream," and you did it.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah.
actually kind like I know it's kind of funny, right? Because don't know what a host is or whatever, but
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't watch Twitch, so.
like that's also like brilliant, right?
Mm,
Just I want to stream. I'm just gonna go do it. Like
yeah.
that's like honestly something that should be applauded. You know what I mean?
Thanks. Yeah. I just was just totally ignorant, but no, I just wanted to know how to. I wanted to learn how to do it. It was
Yeah.
like I was coming up to like last year was really big for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've been through like a midlife crisis yet, but I'm pretty sure last year might have been like right hinging on it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Where when I was coming up to that year, like I turned 30 last year, I got married last year, I sold a property last year, and like I wanted to keep having like hitting these goals, and so
Yeah.
that's why I was like, okay, I want to learn this, before I'm 30. I want to do all this stuff, and kind of now that I've hit 30, I'm like, whatever. I'm back to not being motivated. But
Yeah.
that particular year was like, got to
Yeah.
get all this sort of stuff done
Yeah.
before before I'm 30.
That's cool
Now it's fun.
though. I mean, and it's worked out
Just
for
do
you,
it.
right?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been fun.
You're definitely considered, at least amongst a lot of people, one of the most popular streamers on Twitch for Test Legends, and I mean you're very successful at it. Your streams are pretty large. You got a lot of people. I mean, I don't think I've heard anyone come out of
Go
Eolis'
digging.
stream disgruntled. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
go
definitely
digging.
a fun place to be.
Thanks. Last night might have been a different story for some people, but that's fine.
Well, I wasn't there, so my my belief and the positivity in front of your stream exists still.
Yeah, never happened.
So okay, so you said you've been streaming for a little over a year, right?
Yeah.
I know that community is something that's super important to you, and we kind of touched on that a little bit. So what is your vision, right, for your Twitch channel? I mean, that's something that like every streamer has this idea, and sometimes we don't always live up to it, but we have this idea and this goal of like, this is what I want the focus to be, right? What is that for your channel? Like, tell us a little bit about your channel and what like a viewer could expect coming in.
Yeah, I think for most of my regulars and my mods, one of the things that they'd say is you'd come in and you'd expect misplays. You expect to feel better about the way that you play. And I've kind of shot myself in the foot with that a wee bit because I want it to be a place where people can see that it's possible to have fun with a game and still do like relatively okay at it, and that you can learn while you're there. So you're not necessarily going to be learning off me unless you're going, okay, we won't do that particular move. But like I've had members of the community come in and coach me in their favorite list or their favorite play style.
Yeah.
So for me, that's something that I'd love to continue because one, I mean, who wouldn't want to have some of the best players in the world come in and show you the list that they've created, and you can learn from them, and I love that.
Yeah.
And my community seems to like it when that happens. But I'd also like, I'm in this weird sort of limbo now where I'd actually like at some point to be considered one of the players that people do go to learn from who isn't like an horrific player. But because I play up so much on my misplays on stream, because I will go off and start playing jank because I get ladder anxiety really bad, it's kind of, it's not really hitting that because it's hard to take someone seriously when they're going to ladder to play mono neutral, going to casual to play mono neutral unite because they've lost one game on ladder and suffering from massive ladder anxiety. So I think going forward, I definitely want to keep getting the community members to come in and hang out with me on stream.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to set up like a second camera for it instead of just having them.
Oh yeah.
Like instead of just having them come through over voice. I want to improve my play definitely and start being someone that people watch because they think that I'm okay at the game. And yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm trying to avoid putting goals on my stream, which I used to have of trying to hit top 100 every month because I've really struggled with that over the last sort of 3 or 4 months. I've missed it every month. I think I've been in the like 110s to 140s every month. And I feel like that puts a wee bit too much negativity on the stream, so maybe I shouldn't focus on that too much. I don't know. I just like having fun. It's a hobby for me. I'm not trying to make it a career.
Yeah.
I just kind of like, I'm going to be playing the game anyway.
Yeah.
So why not just stream it?
Well, and hang out with friends.
Hang out with me. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I think the results speak for themselves a little bit. I mean, you're someone who is always in Legend, always pretty high in Legend. You've hit top 100 a couple times as well, right? I mean, that's I don't know. Ask me. I mean, that's a good enough player right there. You know what I mean?
I think it's no matter what I do, whether it's in work or in the games that I'm playing, I tend to try and surround myself with people who I perceive to be a lot better than me. And that actually encompasses a really wide range of people because I have really, really low sort of self-esteem with that type of thing. So I'm assuming that everyone's better than me. But I try and hang out with people who, like they're consistently pushing for top 10, they're disappointed if they didn't hit 1 this month. And so I know logically that I'm okay. And that I do okay when I think through my plays, and I know that hitting these sort of levels in Legend is good, and I should consider myself a good player. But because I'm consistently surrounding myself with people who are just like insanely good, that's why I still sometimes feel like I'm just rushing to try and keep up with them.
Yeah. No, I mean, and there's always well, there's always that person. You know what I mean? No matter what it is. I mean, there's only one best person in the world at anything, and you know what I mean. Like, and so it's always one of those things, and I definitely understand that, especially the ladder anxiety bit, and I mean, I've talked myself out of the top 100 a few times where I'm hanging out in the top 100 and then I'm like, oh, but if I keep playing, I'll just tank and then I decay out of it anyways.
You and I both need to read this article again. I'm sure you've already read it, but we both need to read it again from our teammate and I think mutual coach, Endazoa,
Yeah.
about letter anxiety. It's
Yeah.
really good. And every time I read it, I'm like, absolutely, this is what I need to do, and then I need to go back and have a read every again.
Yeah. It's one of those things for me, I think that like I enjoy playing so many different decks, and I know that you do too, because you're always checking out, having people come on and show me that deck that you were making, And I think for like, at least just speaking from my experience, like that's just a whole nother way to enjoy. There's no one right way to enjoy Legends,
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
And jumping in casual and playing Unite the Houses, like you said, that's fun,
Yeah, it is. It's really good, and I think that's one of the great things about Legends. And I know it's the same with a lot of games, but it does give you so much sort of agency to decide how you want to play. So you've got ranked, which I know some people argue isn't as competitive as it should be, but that's fine. You've got casual if that's what you're wanting to do, and you've got the arena ones as well. So once they get, hopefully, eventually coming soon, the tournaments in client, that'd be amazing.
Oh, the tournament mode. Hopefully.
In client, bringing back gauntlets, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So many options, so many ways to play.
Yeah, for sure. And like that's something that I think kind of got expanded even more in this new set. I mean, I don't know how much you've played around with it, but there's so many, like there's all the new classes, new mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so many cool things. Have you gotten to play a whole lot of Alliance War?
I'm not a lot. So I really feel like it should be more. But it sort of launched when I was at work, and things have been quite busy for me. But I've played. At the moment, I've been playing quite a lot of Daggerfall Covenant. But for me, I'm a massive warrior player. I'm a massive sorcerer player. You put them together,
just
and
mash them together.
Fantastic. Let's just play all of the cards that I love. So I've been doing that. I have had relative success with it. When it first launched, I was playing an Empire list, which was basically just a play on in both lanes. Like any card that had something that was like in both lanes, then I was going to include it in there. And that was because, I released or revealed rather the Transitor Shrine. So I was like, oh, well, I've got to do something with that.
Such a good release too. Such a good preview. So cool.
I know. It was I was happy to have that card. I was really pleased to have that card as well. But yeah, the reason why I had to cut the artwork up is it was so identifiable as a way shrine that, like, if I just put it up, everyone would know what it was. They wouldn't, of course, know what it did. But they'd know what it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just cut out little bits of the art. It's huge art anyway. So.
Yeah. No, my a couple people that hang out in my chat, some of my regulars, and actually one of my first ever subscriber, is a huge what is it, the online Elder Scrolls Online fan, and immediately knew what my after looking at the art, immediately knew what it was.
Yeah, people they're quick.
They know it. They know their lore. It's crazy.
There were people on Reddit who worked it out. So they posted the two pictures together that I had done, and then they had looked at the trailer, and for about half a second, maybe up to a second in the trailer, there's supports showing.
Oh wow.
You could see it there. And the two pieces of art that I clipped from it were like on either side, so not the main art that was there. And they were still able to put it together and be like, that's it, it's a support, it's a way shrine.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, but they're crazy. They're good at that, man. They are on top of it.
Yeah, they were pretty amazing.
Yeah. So with all this new Alliance War stuff, you said you've been having fun with Daggerfall, Empire, stuff like that. Of the new mechanics, I mean, have you seen, like, you've been probably seeing a little bit of Mobilize. Have you played any Arena with this?
No,
I played a little bit, and these new keywords seem really good in Arena.
Yeah, I should. I'm a little low on event them. I'm not sure if I've got any to spend. But no, I've never really been in Arena. an arena player.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like had I started that from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
then I would have learnt cards a whole lot quicker than what I did by just always
Yeah.
being in constructed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I should. I want to. I genuinely have 100 arena tickets that I need to
Oh my gosh, I have so many.
start
Yeah.
chipping away at to see if I could to see if I can sort of get some of those tickets down and also get more packs. But yeah, I've got 100% Alliance War. I've opened a lot of packs.
Yeah.
So I need to now just keep
100%.
working on premium.
Oh, that blows my mind. I'm so jealous. 100%.
Yeah, I did open a lot of packs though.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like a lot. Maybe I don't even know. I pre-ordered.
Yeah.
So that was what 51 or
Yeah.
something. 50 basically. And then I was given really, really lucky to be sponsored by Team Rankstar. I was given 60 packs from them.
Yeah.
I got another 60 pack for myself.
There you go.
And then I bought a whole lot with gold, maybe like 60 or 70 with gold.
Oh yeah, that'll do it, right? That's like, I mean, even just statistically, you open enough the packs, you're gonna get most of it. You just craft the rest.
Still had to craft the last couple of legendaries to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's really cool. Someday I'll get there. I have 100% on all the story expansions.
Yeah, no, it's not. They're not full play sets, right? Like it's just means I've got like
just one of each.
But,
yeah.
And I don't dust, so I've probably got a whole lot of premiums that I'll never use that I probably should.
I'm a chronic. I can't stop myself from dusting the premiums. I love them, but I always just look at other people's premiums.
No, I can't dust premiums.
Oh man, I'm like that. I'm like that power gamer. Like I'm just ruthless about that. You know what I mean? I'm like, don't need it. It's going away. I'm gonna get all the other cards. Yeah.
But then if you want to craft it.
Oh, I know.
It's so expensive.
I've just resigned myself to that, to the fact.
Breaking my heart here, dusting premiums.
Yeah, I do. The only premiums I have are either the promotional ones, and then I have 3 lightning bolts because lightning bolts just such a good card.
So I have how many lightning bolts do I have? I got like all of them.
And then right now I'm sitting on 3 mystic dragons. For some reason, I pulled 3 Mystic Dragons in about 7 packs when I was opening Skyrim. So I was like, well, since I've got a playset, I'll just keep them. And a Ruby Throne.
I have 12 Lightning Bolts. They have 3 of the normal, 3 of the premium of the normal, and then 3 of the...
Oh, that's right. They had promotional ones.
Yeah.
So many Lightning Bolts. You should run 1 of each in a deck.
I have 12 Morkel Gatekeepers.
Oh, my gosh.
But it got keep getting caught up in when you like squish them all. What do you call it? When you like do the auto dusting of like extras.
Oh,
yeah. So even though I got the alternate arts, I got the alternate arts from 2 separate places.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question, and I haven't necessarily asked a lot of people this, but this is just something that like I was thinking about. We're kind of at the point with Elder Scrolls Legends where like the future's in front of us. You know what I mean? We've got the promise of all these new sets. The Master Series has actually officially been announced as of today.
Yeah, as of today.
And hosted by Team Rankstar. That's really exciting. The qualifiers hosted by. I'm so excited for it. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be really fun. And so, and we've got a couple other things. They've promised some small, user interface updates and stuff like that. So let me ask this: from a game perspective, right? What is it that you would like to see worked on like first? You know what I mean? Now, I'm not talking about cards necessarily, although if there's like a certain mechanic or something you're really interested in, by all means. But like from a state of the game kind of situation, what is it from the devs perspective? Like what is it that Sparky Pants or Bethesda can do that you think would be the most exciting for the future?
There's a couple of things off the top of my head. Gauntlets and events coming back would be huge. That was one of my favorite things to do, and it was for a lot of people, those sort of gauntlet events and grand melees that were happening. That would be massive. A live leaderboard for Legends.
Yeah.
And a leaderboard for Arena.
Oh, a leaderboard for arena.
I think that I'm not an arena player, but I've got a lot of friends who are,
Hmm.
and a lot of friends who are really, really good at it.
Yeah.
Like, really good at it. And at the moment, there hasn't been a whole lot of love shown to those who are extremely proficient at it. So, um, some kind of live leaderboard for their, even if it's just amount of aced runs, something like that. Because I
Yeah.
think at the moment, even the aced runs aren't reflecting correctly.
Hmm.
So showing some love for that,
Yeah.
um, I'm not completely self-obsessed. I'll let them have some for arena. I think that would be really neat because it's looking at something else. But I think live leaderboards for legend, live leaderboards for arena, um, and I can't remember the gauntlets and the mailings.
Yeah.
They would be the big things, and I think that they're, from my perspective,
Hmm.
things that are relatively small for them to implement,
Hmm.
coming from a non-design,
Yeah.
non-background. That would make a massive difference in terms of how players feel about
Hmm.
the game in the game, especially if you can see everything in client. So if you picture if you picture me before I was streaming and before I found out there was a community behind it, when I was a mobile player and I played the crap out of the game, like I
Yeah.
played it all the time, but I was not actively involved in any community outside of it, not even Reddit, not anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, so when events would happen,
Hmm.
I knew about them when the event came up. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, there's an event happening.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know about things like card nerfs until I logged in one day and it would pop up saying these cards
Mm.
had been changed. Um, I didn't know about how competitive Legends was because every now and again I'd match with someone who was in the top 100 and I'd like have to steady myself, like, holy shit, this person must be a god. Like,
Oh,
um,
man.
you don't have that. So if you have in client, one, they've got it now with their little news calendar thing. That's awesome because
Yeah.
you can see that are coming up sort of in client. But if you follow that up with, the in client tournaments, in client like gauntlets and grand melees and
Hmm.
the leaderboard, amazing.
Yeah.
You all of a sudden you're bringing all these people in that
Just
didn't really realize.
give a little bit more accessibility to some of the people maybe on
Yeah, I
mobile
mean,
and
we know about the tournament. We
yeah.
know about what people are discussing, and we know about what nerfs people want and everything because we're involved in discords and Reddits, like threads and
Hmm.
Reddits. That makes me sound so old.
Reddits.
Just
All the
Reddit,
Reddits. We've got them
all
all.
of the Reddits. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like we know about that because we're involved in a lot of discussion stuff outside of it.
Hmm.
But if you're not, if you have everything in client, I
Yeah.
love that.
No, it makes a lot of sense for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
and the gauntlets and everything just being a way to include everybody, give people more ways to play. That's awesome.
They were fun. They were
Yeah.
so much fun. Like they, I can't even remember what
They had
some
like
of
the
them
madness
were.
ones sometimes and
Yeah. Um.
yeah.
Yeah. It's been so long. I can't even remember what they were.
I
But
did
no,
like
they
the gauntlet ones where like you built a constructed deck and then went through and played for as
Yeah.
many just like arena but like
Hmm.
with constructed. That was really cool. And I would love to see more.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that all the time. Like
Yeah. So
spending a
like those
ticket there
every
instead of the
couple of
arena.
weeks or once a month or whatever it was, they were the best one. They
I
were they
mean
were so much fun.
I have like 50 arena tickets. I would just blow right now like on stream just immediately going through. I don't play enough arena. I've actually played more arena today than I have in the last 6 months. This is just
Yeah.
great. Just today, I had 2 runs.
That's impressive.
Yeah, well, not really. I'm bad at arena. Um,
Yeah. I need to work on it definitely.
yeah. And then okay, so the second half of the question,
Hmm.
right? So
I forgot it.
yeah, I'll give you a little prompt. Don't worry. The second half of the question, what is it? So we talked about from the kind of developer standpoint of things, right?
Hmm.
What do you think that the community can do next and moving forward in the future? What is it that like the community's doing really well, and what are some things that we think that the community can get even better at?
Oh Lord.
I mean, not trying to be like a loaded question to
No,
get you in
I
trouble or
know.
anything,
It's
but
no, it's fine. I get myself in enough trouble. Um, and I'm actually trying harder now to sort of put my opinions out there. I used to, I try to sort of please everyone, sit on the fence, don't say it one way or another, because I don't, having my name and my stream against it, it's really easy to sort of have a witch hunt if you say something
hmm
that's come across as not very nice. Um, I just think the community as a whole does pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we communicate with each other relatively well, but I think as soon as it descends pretty quickly into an us versus them with oh gosh, the casual versus competitive argument was just ridiculous. So I think as long as we can avoid that type of thing again, we just continue on as we are. It's fine. But that's probably wishful thinking. I like the way that we're able to interact with the developers. I think their presence on Reddit, their presence on Discord, their presence in Twitch chats. So I don't know about you with your time of day. I feel really fortunate because depending on the time of day that I stream, Sparky Pants will, people they'll come into the chat, which is amazing to me. I think that is also they'll just come and hang out, stream for a bit.
Yeah.
I had a stream recently where like Jason Coleman was in there. Like the
that's cool.
Honcho of Lemon Sparky Pants, and he was in there having a chat to me about the game. We've got
show
Gavin,
off.
Sparky Decker. No, it was amazing. I was so happy about it. I was really pleased that he was there. But like Gavin, Sparky Deckard is like hands down one of the hardest working.
Yeah, he's been all over the place.
I feel so sorry for him sometimes.
Yeah.
With the stuff that happens, but like having that sort of connection with the developers has been huge, and I think as long as we treat that with respect as a community, don't push them away.
Yeah.
Keep embracing the fact that they're hanging out with us and willing to make changes.
For sure. That's definitely something that's been incredible. Yeah. And I've seen that a lot of places. Not so much my time because and CVH has even mentioned it. He's like, yeah, I'm working.
Yeah.
But
I know. CVH is so busy. I remember. I can't remember if I had asked him to either come into the stream or I'd asked him to help me with a retweet or something, like for some promotional stuff. And I was like, I'm starting at this time and it's not getting a tweet, probably being a brat about something.
Yeah.
And he was like, messaged me back and he's like, Eolis, I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. And I was like, yeah, cool. That's 3 a.m. your time. I get that, and you've just been working, on all this sort of stuff. But no, they're great. They look after us. It's kind of nice being part of one of Bethesda's smaller games where we have that sort of interaction with them a lot.
Well, and they're posting more on Reddit. They're hanging out in chats. There's just a lot of really good communication from Sparky Pants right now, which it's not just CVH now. For a long time we just hear from CVH, and I felt so bad for him. The only voice out there.
I know, the scapegoat for everything.
Yeah.
There's a running joke in my Twitch chats that it's CVH's fault for stuff. So like I don't know. I think it stemmed from someone coming into the chat after the nerfs had happened, the most recent set of nerfs. And someone had come in stating that CVH had nerfed these cards because he hated Tribunal or he liked Tribunal. There was some really broad a very specific statement that was like, CVH has done
CVH did this
because of the playstyle that he likes, and he just wasn't listening to me being like, dude, CVH isn't just sitting there like, I'm nerfing this card and I'm like buffing this card just because I want to play these.
He's the community manager. He's not the lead designer.
I know. And so whenever someone comes in to chat and they'll be like, oh my god, I haven't won any games with Archer today, and one of my mods will be like, oh yeah, CVH has just nerfed Archer. Like, CVH hasn't done it. Yeah.
If it's not Shannara's fault, it's CVH's fault.
Exactly. There are a few scapegoats in the community. CVH is right up there just above Shannara.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to do just real fast before we end it. I want to do a couple quick fire questions. Basically just I'm asking a couple quick questions and answer it with the first thing that pops into your head. All right.
Okay.
All right. So what is your favorite deck in Test Legends ever?
Warrior.
Just warrior.
Warrior, easy.
Just any warrior.
Warrior. Any warrior.
Doomcrag, aggro, all the warriors?
No, any of them, all of the above. You said one quick answer, we got one quick answer.
All right, I love it. I love it. What is your favorite one card in Tessil?
Bushwick.
I should have known.
I've said it so often now that I can't say any other answer.
It's too easy. Where did that come from? Where did the Eolis Bushwhack love come from? Because I know that it exists, and like every time I roll it on Pawnbroker, I'm just like, oh, I hate this card. Wait, don't tell Eolis.
Yeah. When Morrowind first released, I had pushed my way up to Legend really quickly before it released because I was like, and it's the same as Alliance War. I was like, as soon as this drops with 3 colors, because we'd never seen 3 colors before. I was like, I'm gonna struggle. I don't know what to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'd like forced my way up into Legends really quick, and because of that, when my first stream of Morrowind, I am at like Legend 10. Like I'm like the highest I've ever been. And I'm playing a warrior list that I've made, which is always a worry. But all I had done was I'd taken my base aggro warrior that I had been playing for so long, and then I just added some Morrowind cards into it.
Just for funsies.
To make it feel like I was playing these new cards.
Yeah.
And that included a 3 of Bushwick, because I was like, you can avoid guards and go face. That's
so
amazing.
Good. OP.
Like, why would you not want to play that? And 3 Redarin Oathman and Warrior. Yep, that was there.
Okay.
A couple of other things, but there's this clip of it, like a highlight I'm so proud of, and it makes me cringe every time I watch it now, where I get lethal using Bushwick, but not because it's dodging guard, but just simply because I use it to activate the plot on the dude that gives the scimitars.
Yeah.
Like that dude. And I'm like, this is it. Bushwick, man. Bushwick's amazing.
It's so good because it triggers plot.
It's all I've used it for. And so ever since that kind of time frame where I was really like, Bushwick's amazing, it's just kind of gone so far now that
Oh my gosh, Bushwick.
I don't run it in anything. Just for the record, I do not run Bushwick in any list that I play.
You should include a 1-buy in every list.
Until they make it neutral. And I've said this to people so many times. If they make Bushwick neutral so that I can play it in any list, I'll include one of Bushwick in every list.
That's easy. Awesome. Bushwick, the best plot trigger in Elder Scrolls Legends. Amazing. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I'll send you the highlight. It's pretty cringy.
I definitely want to see that. Okay, so we have your favorite deck, Warrior, any Warrior. Your favorite card, any Bushwhack. Warrior. I should have known. What is your favorite food? Told you it wasn't.
Broccoli.
Broccoli.
Not lying. Hands down, broccoli.
Explain.
I love broccoli. It's a thing.
It's just broccoli.
I have it with every meal if I can.
Oh my
Couldn't have it last night because the supermarket didn't have any, and it was a bit of an ordeal.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's hands down favorite.
Like
easily.
Cooked broccoli or like raw broccoli or
cooked, raw, roasted, steamed.
Like you even like
fried.
It raw broccoli? Oh gosh.
Easy. Raw broccoli and bacon salad. Holy shit.
Oh my god. Well, bacon, great. I'll just probably it's all good. I'll just probably like pick out the broccoli and just eat the bacon. I mean, a bacon salad, that sounds pretty good.
Broccoli.
That's
down.
Yeah. Well, moving on from that answer. What is your favorite memory playing Elder Scrolls Legends?
Shit. Okay. What I would have said previously. Because it changed today.
Oh, really?
What I would have said previously would have been streaming Legends at TwitchCon with Bethesda. That was mind-boggling for me and huge.
So
and
cool.
Incredible experience to go over there, and for them to let me come up on stage with them and show them how to win with mono red autofill, which was a Bushwick autofill.
That's great.
So that would have been right up there. But it just reminded me today with the Master Series announcements. I went back and watched a vlog that Charmer had done from QuakeCon last year.
Yeah.
And so before QuakeCon, Dust, or the Adventures of Dust, had been on my stream, and he'd lost a bet. As part of that stream, I'd won the bet, and my challenge to him was that he had to publicly challenge CVH to an arm wrestle. And so they filmed it. And that's
Oh,
hands down
wow.
like my favorite. That's like right up there because
That's
there's like Dust and CBH and all of these other amazing personalities at QuakeCon, and like Dust is just he's just like, this is why you shouldn't make bets with Sophie, and he's arm wrestling CBH. He's mid arm wrestle and he screams plunder. It's amazing. Like it's so good. Yeah, it's on Tama's videos. I shared it on Twitter again today.
That's
Much to
brilliant.
disgust, but yeah, that's got to be up there.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
Oh man.
highlight of my life.
I'm gonna have to hunt. I've got so many videos I have to hunt down after this conversation.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Oh my gosh. All right. And the last question, when you are done streaming for the day or you're having a day off and you're just gonna kick back, relax, and you're gonna watch some Elder Scrolls Legends or watch a VOD or anything, who is your go-to content creator? Whose content is just perfect for you?
That's so difficult because there are so many of
That's
them
what
that
everyone says, but you have to pick one. Who's your, like, not your favorite? I'm not asking for favorite, but whose content just is something that you really like. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's got that person that always just everything they do is just like, oh, this is just like right for me. Like, who is it?
Who do I sit and watch the most? Like, it must be the person that I sit there and watch and I don't necessarily join in chatting. It's just that I have sitting there in the background playing. Honestly, it's probably Turquoise Link.
Yeah.
And I think that it's one because he's clearly an amazing player, but also because of time zones. So he's on when I'm, like, at night, like doing that. I really enjoy it. Can I do a non-Legends
Of course,
well?
Yeah.
Just because this is kind of left field. But another one that I sit down and watch all the time, like frequently, is a Slay the Spire streamer.
Yeah.
Just came across him randomly. His name is Sneaky Teak, and he's got one of those like radio voices.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like it's kind of like what you've got, you know, like you could just got that kind of voice that it sounds like you could be on radio.
Sure.
Like, I can just sit there and listen to him and watch him stream. So I do that a lot as well. So like I play Slay the Spire a little, like, you know, off to the side and sometimes on stream. But I'll just hang out in his stream a lot because I just like the way that he presents himself, the way that he talks, the way that he plays. I like it a lot.
That's awesome. Well, last thing before we head out, I just wanted to give you an opportunity if you have any shout outs you want to make, or if there's any, and finally, I guess the more important thing after shout outs, what is, like, do you have any advice? You know, obviously you're someone who has found success in Elder Scrolls Legends, but just in streaming, and in just building a community. What is some advice you'd give to someone out there interested in doing what you did, going out, getting started streaming, getting started creating content? Like, what advice do you think you've got for them?
Just stream it. Like, just turn it on and stream it because you want to stream it. Because it's a hobby of yours, you know, or you want to learn how to do it, or you're just going to be playing anyway. Do not stream with the intention of getting viewers. Like, do not stream with the intention of making it your full-time career. Like, at least to begin with, you know, like if you take off, then please go for it. Oh my goodness, how amazing would that be? But yeah, just chill. Like, just stream it because you want to stream it. The people being there pick up on your feelings pretty easily. So if you're doing it because you're like every seconds going, hey, anyone's here, please make sure you follow me, please make sure you follow me, please make sure, you know, like I don't like it. Just be genuine and you'll be fine.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Any final shout outs before we close this one down?
I don't think so. I think we can do one to the developer saying Bushwick needs to be neutral because they have to have something in there every time, which is saying this is something that needs to happen. And also big kudos to our team Rankstar, for being involved with this Master Series. I'm excited about it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's run.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Eolis, for joining us today. Definitely an awesome, really fun conversation. It's been super great. Don't forget, guys, to check out Eolis on Twitch, on Twitter. We'll have all of that linked down below. And once again, Eolis, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of DBN and Friends. I thoroughly enjoyed my chat with Eolis, and I hope you did too. Hope to see you next time, but until then, don't forget to check out TeamRankstar.com for more amazing Test Legends content.